The Family Camel Show. I'm your host Nadim Al Jamal with my roommate Schalia Romero. I think I
That's
said
pretty close.
Okay, damn it. How are you, baby?
Oh, I'm delicious.
Okay, she gonna be doing her makeup, and we're just gonna be talking. Hi, baby.
Doing it.
You can start whenever you want to.
Okay.
I'm gonna play Gossip Girl for you also. But do you still want? I should have probably got wine just in case.
Nah, that's funny.
Wouldn't you want to drink? Okay, no worries.
I always want to drink. Excuse you. Actually, that's not true.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't.
Well,
But
no problem. But yeah, so I don't know. Honestly, there's gonna be a lot of dead air. Basically, is like when there's no conversation, and I don't know. I'm kind of used to having dead air where like I'm hanging out with people, not doing anything. You know, like because sometimes things get quiet and that's okay.
right, because you don't have to like constantly fill every second
No.
with talking.
And that's what I love about podcasts also because like you literally don't. Some people talk nonstop and they have these weird feelings when it's dead air, like the H3H3 production. Okay, I wasn't sure if this was interfering with the audio, but like H3H3 and Joe Rogan, they make sure that they don't have even 1 second of quietness, and I don't understand why. Because like it's natural for conversations to end at some point. I know you want to keep your person in focus and intrigued by what's happening and what's going on, but at the same time, like just let them relax. Like that, you observed a lot of information at that point. Just chill.
Right. I mean, I don't really understand the point of like talking unless you are trying to say something specifically. I'm not very good at just like continuing a conversation that's clearly come to its natural end.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I feel like it's super hard to talk to people you don't really know.
Yeah.
Because you feel that pressure to just keep talking and keep thinking of something to say.
Because you kind of feel anxious when it gets really quiet. At one point, you're like, "Am I supposed to say something? Am I supposed to be talking?" But I feel that's why I'm kind of comfortable with some people because I can definitely be quiet, and it's the best feeling like when you're alone with someone and you can still be like with someone and still feel alone, and that's really rare for some people. Like, there's some friends that we in our group that we obviously need to have someone with at all times, and I completely understand that they feel that certain way, but I can't relate to that feeling, so it's kind of hard to understand specifically like how exactly they feel, but I understand their perspective.
Right. I have like some friends that are a lot more like talkative and social, which I mean, I'm social, but there's a reason why my best friends that have been my friends for years are still the kind of friends that like you can just kind of comfortably be in silence with them and not feel like you have to talk constantly. You're just hanging out and you're like, hey, you're here, I'm here. We don't have to talk, but like we're hanging out.
Yeah, and
No
that's
pressure
why I love
here.
living with you and Kelson, because like I honestly don't feel like I need to be around you guys at all times, because you guys are doing your own thing and I'm doing my own thing. But it's also nice that I can just come downstairs and be like, hey, I'm about you guys for a second. And I noticed that you and Kelson all the time pause the TV show or a movie for me, and I really appreciate that. Like you
Aw.
don't have to, but I really appreciate it that you are giving me like these few seconds of attention.
Right. I mean, yeah, because sometimes people just want to come home and they just want to like unload about their day or like tell someone something that happened or like whatever. So try to like be that for other people, especially because I'm like that. I remember when I was living with Allie, like it was a thing for me to like walk through the front door and be like, dude, you will not believe this. And I would just like tell her about my whole day and like the shit that pissed me off or like whatever. And she would just like sit there and be like, yes. And she would also pause the TV and she would listen to me and she'd be like, yes. Oh, yes, that guy.
Oh, right. How's Ellie doing? Is she living by herself after you moved out, or did she
She
find...
lives with her friend Morgan. I actually just talked to her the other day because like I was asking her what her living plans were for when she graduates and all that jazz. Because I was like, hey, if you're planning on moving and like need a roommate in like Portland. I'm
Oh, she's
around.
moving to Portland?
I don't think
Yeah.
she is because she
Oh,
hates cities.
oh,
But
makes
I was
sense.
like, I mean, honestly, living on the outskirts of a city isn't really that bad.
Yeah.
It's not super like city like. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like living in downtown.
No, yeah, because I feel like downtown's like the most concentrated area in general, so it would be too hectic.
Right. But yeah, I was talking to her about it because I was like, man, I mean, I'm probably gonna need a roommate at some
Oh,
point, so hit
well,
me up.
well, hopefully. I honestly, I kind of feel bad about it, but I still understand both perspectives. But at the same time, like,
No, yeah, I feel that.
it's just not a way to, yeah,
Plus, it's like, I don't know. Like, at first, I was like really upset about it, but now I'm just like, it'll just be a disaster if,
this keeps up, yeah.
yeah, it'll just like explode into not great
Hmm.
things. Cause I
Like,
was like, do I really want to live with someone that doesn't want to live with me? That's
yeah,
just gonna be awkward and
yeah.
weird.
Like, you want to play the long game rather than the short game, because like right now we're way too young. Like, I understand. I personally want to settle down. I want to like have someone I know they're gonna be there for me forever, and I'm gonna be there for them forever. But at the same time, I completely understand that we're still all exploring and just learning who we are as a person. And like Kelson, I always knew that he's like a kind of solo kind of guy, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like he needs his friends around because he needs. We like to be alone, but we need to socialize also. But I don't know, man. It just maybe in the future things will be different where he's like, yeah, I miss all like this is all experience by the way he's gaining also right now, and you are too. Like you guys know how it feels to live together and like have someone there for you at all times when you come back home. You're like you guys just like, oh, how's your day? Cuddle and stuff. But maybe like when you start living alone, both of you, you'll realize what you're missing. Because right now you're taking things for granted.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not a bad thing. It's a human thing. We get accustomed to our situation and just take things for granted.
Yeah. I mean, I really just think, yeah, like, especially because we are so young, I really anticipated a lot of those growing pains of having to negotiate, like, are we going to stay together? And if we do, what does that look like? Like, how
Yeah,
much are we willing to compromise the things that we want in order to stay together? Or should we have to compromise anything at all?
yeah,
And it's like one of those things when you're really young that you want to get everything you want,
mm-hmm.
of course, because you want things to work out the way you want them to work out. But then it's like, if you really love this person, are you really going to ask them to
Just yeah,
compromise and to change the things that they want just because you want them to?
yeah,
And it just, I feel like eventually it'll just lead to the point of resentment
yeah,
where it's like, I didn't get to travel, or I didn't get to do the things I wanted to do because you were holding me down. And it's like,
yeah,
in the end, that is just gonna break everything anyway.
yeah.
So I was like, I mean, I talked to my mom about it because she was
Oh,
like,
what'd she say?
she had a lot of really good perspective for me,
Hell
honestly.
yeah, that makes me
Like,
happy. Do
I
tell.
love talking to my mom about this because she's my mom,
Yeah,
but she also really likes Kelson and really thinks that we're good for each other.
I agree.
And she was basically like, this might be something that's just really important for him to do in order to prove to himself that if he's going to be with you, it's because he wants to be and not
Mm-hmm.
because he can't be alone or like can't afford it or
Makes
whatever.
sense. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot. That's true. Like, I didn't even think about these two factors specifically, like living alone, since like Portland's fucking expensive to live alone, and like knowing that this is your person. Like my boss actually even said the same thing too. I was talking to him about how like I love you guys. I obviously talk about you guys fucking all the time. But I was telling him like I feel bad that you guys are just kind of getting nitpicky with each other a bit when things were going really low.
Yeah.
And I'm like I honestly understand both perspectives and I support both of them. It just sucks that it's happening, but I want them to realize that they're for each other. And then my boss is like, "Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't want something to happen to them. Like, cause he just saw you for a second and he saw Kelson. Like, I really hope Kelson doesn't make a mistake and like think, oh shit, I just lost this person forever. Or you make a mistake and like, oh shit, I lost this person forever. Like, you guys still want to experience things differently, but at the same time, like, make sure that you are in each other's life."
Yeah, it's like I'm just starting to realize that you have like a limited amount of time and a limited amount of energy,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to balance like the things that you want and need and your relationship and the other person's wants and needs, and trying to like get your friends in there, get your work in there. Like there's just not that many hours in the day, and it takes a lot of um it takes a lot of balance and a lot of compromises and a lot of like really intentional decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like you can't really lead with your feelings a lot of the time. You have to think in a sort of practical sense of what's going to make the most
Mm-hmm.
out of your situation
I
and
agree.
what's going to like be healthier for you moving forward. So I don't know. I kind of was like, well, this isn't what I had in mind, but I mean, we're either going to figure it out together or we're not, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So it's like, if I want to keep you in my life, then certain compromises have to be made,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of thing. So, I mean, that's just kind of how that goes, unless it's really different when you're like older and you already have like an established career and you already have a like your own place to live and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and then you meet someone and then you just kind of meld your lives together
Mm-hmm.
and like add them into your already existing life. But
Yeah.
it's a lot different when you're really young and you don't have that established yet, because then you kind of have to like build it as you go along
Yeah,
and
I
figure
agree.
it out, which is a lot more stressful.
Because, like, when you're young, you're still lost. It takes us so long to, like, I don't think we also realize that our brain actually stops developing at 25. Because, like, as soon as we hit 18, I feel like a lot of people our age assume that you already know, you have to know your shit, like, where your life's gonna go, what you're doing after college, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, dude, no, there's people, like, the KFC guy, he never got famous until, like, 40. He started so many businesses, and so, what was his name? Colonel Sanders?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but like he had so many restaurants and so many failed businesses, and like he didn't know what he wanted to do in life until he started KFC at the age of 40 or something.
Right?
Don't fact check me, I'm not really sure yet, but it's just it's gonna take a while for us to figure ourselves out. And like by 25, that's when our brains stop developing, and that's when like we become mature brain wise, but not completely. Because like we're always growing. We're not gonna stop growing until we die. Like some people do stop growing at a young age, not like physically, but I feel like mentality and personality wise, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like they're losing so much because the moment you like, I understand you know what you like, and I understand that there's things you want to keep in your life, but the moment you stop growing, you're just done. You're not living anymore because you're just stuck in time. You're not going forward in time. You're literally paused your time for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like it's so easy to want to keep everything the way that it is when you're comfortable and you have everything that you want. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
why would I want to change anything? Everything's
Yeah.
great. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to screw that up.
Especially when you're happy too. It just feels really nice to be comfortable.
Right?
But right now, it's times for us to be uncomfortable. I feel like during winter, we all kind of like hibernate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You get
Because,
super like contemplative in the winter because you're
yeah.
just inside thinking about everything and you're like, wow, really trying to figure it out. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
am I doing? What am I doing? What do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
What have I like been screwing up lately? Kind of like get all introspective, and
Yeah.
then you start realizing all these things, and you try to carry that momentum into the non-winter months where you're like, these are all the things that I realized in the wintertime while I was like being super pensive, and I
Same.
want to like remember all of those
But
things that I was thinking of.
what I'm happy about is like I noticed that you and Kelson always grow. Even like with it living with you guys, I feel like I see growth almost every day. And I don't feel like a lot of people notice that or like see it in themselves. Specific like especially people don't see that in themselves. And I'm like, no, you gotta give yourself credit. Like I know you're such a harsh critic on yourself, but you gotta give yourself some credit for being here today, for being a different person from you who you were last year, and for being a different person from you were yesterday. I mean, not all the time like you're a different person from yesterday, but you're still a different person from yesterday. And I was reading somewhere online that apparently every few years, every single cell of your body actually changes. So you're like literally physically a completely different human being every few years.
Oof.
Like every single cell. It's just the same look, same genes, same DNA, but different cells.
We're just made to change, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Like, it's unavoidable.
We're actually really adaptive as species, yeah. Because, like, if you think about it, we have people living in third world countries still, and they're still thriving, and we have people living here, and they're thriving, and then you have people living in Alaska and Antarctica, or, I mean, not technically living in Alaska, but, like, scientists who just stay there for a while. Like, you can adapt. We humans are very adaptive to our surroundings, and I think that's fucking sick.
Right. I feel like the trick is to it like on the one hand want more and strive for better and like want to change, at the same time being kind of okay with how things are and not putting like a ridiculous amount of unrealistic expectations of how your life is supposed to be. Like I feel like there's a weird balance between being committed to your journey and just kind of like allowing yourself to
Mm-hmm.
grow in your own time in your own way, but also not get so comfortable that you're not really pushing yourself
Mm-hmm.
at all, because I
Yeah.
feel like you could go the extreme of either way where you're like, I don't know, I just kind of like things the way they are, so why try for better? But then
Yeah.
I feel like the other side of that is not really learning to appreciate what you have because you're always thinking of what you don't have
Mm-hmm.
and trying to like constantly make it better instead of just like being appreciative of where you're at in your life.
Yeah,
But it
like,
kind of you need like a balance of both in a way.
yeah, a lot of people like who see successful people don't realize that you did not see them practice and fail so many times. You only see their success. Like they literally only show like become big after becoming so successful, but you don't understand how many times they failed to grow into becoming the person they are. Like let's say Muhammad Ali, the boxer. Back in the day, you can't really show how much you're growing. He literally just everyone knows him as the greatest boxer. But you don't know how many times he failed, how many times he fell, how much so much shit that happened to his life, but he eventually became that kind of person.
Right? I feel like the easiest and quickest way to fail is to just not try at all.
Oh yeah.
Because, I mean, then you already failed before you even started.
Yeah.
But then I feel like that's a way to just, I don't know, almost like kind of convince yourself that it wasn't worth doing anyway. You kind of like self sabotage it because you're like, well, it's not going to work out, so I'm just not going to try at all.
Yeah.
And that way I don't have to feel bad about failing.
Hell
But
yeah.
then it's like you still failed anyway because you didn't
Yeah.
even try.
You didn't even bother, yeah.
Didn't even try to do it.
Man, like I feel like the first step is always the hardest for people. And that's completely understandable, but man, just put your foot in the door and do it. Like it's literally for you. I swear to God, it's just literally for you. Like, I understand you're worried about people seeing you fail and then judging you for that, but man, they're all gonna be crying when you reach the goal you always wanted to reach.
Right? Plus, it's like, I feel like, especially with social media, we kind of have come into this weird way where we're constantly in competition with other people.
Yeah.
And I don't really get, I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I don't really get that. At least for me, I'm like, I'm just pretty like in my own journey, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I don't really see what the point is of getting jealous of other people or like comparing yourself because they're on their own path and you gotta be committed to your own journey. It doesn't do you any good to. I feel like you can see what someone else has accomplished and want that kind of success for yourself, but I don't feel like you should compare it and make you feel bad because you're not there yet. It's just like a goal. It's just like a motivator or an inspiration or something. But especially with things like Instagram and stuff, people are like, "Oh, I don't have like 1 million followers and I don't have all these brand deals." It's like, I mean,
So what?
that's not really what it's about anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really. It's about you. Sorry, my camera just died. I'm glad I have another battery.
No. Can I sneak a Puff Bar hit?
Oh yeah, dude, you can use whatever you need to.
Okay. I mean, I was like, can I do this?
I was hitting it too. You're kind of a natural. Sorry. You're kind of natural, like literally being in front of the camera and not. I mean, it's like it's just there. It's like another eye.
Whoa. Oh.
Sorry.
No, I dropped it. Well, yeah, it's just a camera. I mean, It's not like it's gonna change anything you said or anything like that. Wait.
Yeah, because, like, I know a lot of people feel uncomfortable in front of a camera, and I do too. But, like, for video, for some reason, I don't feel uncomfortable. Because, I don't know, I feel like here's the thing, my issue with pictures, what makes me feel awkward is because I feel like people just see a small, brief moment of time and then they make assumptions out of it. But, like, when I record myself through video, I feel very natural with the camera because it's like you're seeing the whole picture. You're seeing me as me. So it just feels less judgy and less anxiety ridden for some reason. I don't know. Maybe
I
that's
feel
just
that.
me.
No, I feel that because I'm a lot more awkward when I'm getting my picture taken. I
Yeah.
don't like that. It feels
Yeah.
really weird and feels really staged because especially when you get your picture taken professionally, they're like, tilt your head this way and like look
Do this,
down.
yeah.
And then they're like, put your arm this way. And then you're like, I don't really know what this pose is,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel natural anymore.
Yeah.
And then they're like, smile. And you have to hold that face while they take the picture, especially when you're trying to do a serious face. Can't.
I kind of do that too with people, like when I take their pictures, because I understand a lot of people are not natural in front of a camera because, again, your picture being taken is literally one moment. So if you're doing something, like let's say you're moving and your arms are like this, it looks so weird in a camera. You just can't help it.
I feel that. I just feel like videos are more, they feel more like a conversation. Just feels more normal to just talk
I agree.
than it is to like strike a pose and like have the Keira Knightley brow on and stuff. Just, I don't know. That's why whenever I work with those photographers that hire me to come on and do photo shoots and stuff for them, like, there's a reason why I've never modeled for them, and it's
Aw.
because I feel really awkward about it.
But you would have been so successful because you always look so goddamn good for some reason. Well, because you work hard on yourself, obviously.
Except for my diet.
But somehow you have some really good metabolism, so it doesn't matter.
Honestly, I'm really just trying to take advantage of it while I have it. Because,
Yeah.
I mean,
You don't have it forever. It's gonna go away eventually.
exactly. I'm 23 and I can basically eat whatever I want whenever I want and never gain a pound.
So. Hell yeah.
But that's going to disappear in like maybe a year or two.
Mhm.
So, and then I'll have to start dieting and actually exercising. So I'm just trying to live it up while I can. Because, I mean, why not?
Human bodies are so interesting. Swear. Man, this is one of the best investments I had in a long time. Is literally the Burt's Beeswax lip balm.
What is it? Oh, yeah.
Man, my lips are getting so chapped most of the time, and like this really helps.
I feel that. I have to constantly exfoliate my lips because they just get so chapped in the winter. And then, I try to put on like a lipstick or something over it, and it does not look cute. Okay. You can see like all the flakes and stuff. Like, I mean, would you want to kiss that? No.
I don't really pay attention to lips that much. It's just the size and the shape of it. I don't really notice like. I only notice my own lips because obviously I feel like you're really critical with your own body, but like when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, I look good. But then I think about it, like maybe people look at this and think like, oh, his lips are chapped. Oh, because I have a really bad eczema, as you can tell. Sometimes you can see flakes of skin on my face. I'm assuming you guys definitely noticed that.
Oh, I never noticed that.
I'm glad because it takes fucking forever for me to remove them. Like it's literally the same spots also. So I use my same eczema cream every fucking time. So it's either my face looks oily as shit because of the cream, or I look flaky as fuck because of my eczema. And like I never had this until here in Oregon because of the cold. Well, no, I'm lying. It happened in Saudi Arabia, but that's because when I used to pray, I used to wash my face like 5 times a day, because it will do. You have to like wash your arm and legs and be pure so you can pray. And that's the only reason I got eczema on my face. But here, since it's cold and it's raining all the time and there's like water just splashing on your face randomly, you're like, man, this makes my eczema even fucking worse.
Yeah, my mom and my brother have eczema, and I only have dyshydrotic eczema on my hands. So whenever I wash them a lot or just use a lot of chemicals or whatever, like cleaning, I'll get like breakouts on my hands. But that's
Damn.
kind of basically it. So I'm kind of lucky on that front. But skincare is just
It's hard.
it's
Yeah.
kind of complicated and time consuming, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Pretty important to me, but yeah, it's like an investment. And the only thing I don't do is I don't wear SPF, and I know I'm supposed to.
Sunscreen?
Yeah, you're supposed to wear
Oh.
it like every day whenever you
Why?
leave the
Oh yeah,
house.
because wait, why? Because it makes wrinkles?
Yeah, it just contributes to, this is just what I've like heard, but they say it contributes to premature aging, wrinkles, sunspots, that kind of stuff. And my mom was the one that actually told me about it because, of course, when I was being raised, she was like, Shalia, you're brown. You
Yeah.
don't need any SPF. You're not going to get sunburned. And I didn't get sunburned. Like, I never wore SPF when I was a kid. I just
Yeah.
ran around in the sun and got tanned. So she was like, yeah, you're Filipino and Mexican. You don't need any sunblock. But then, like, recently, in, like, the past couple of years, because I think she's in her mid-50s, if I remember, she's starting to get, like, sunspots on her face. And she's like, this is all because I never wore sunscreen. So you need to wear sunscreen.
I like how that changed from you don't need to do now, like, oh, never mind, learn from my mistakes.
Right? Because I feel like it's really common in just brown people to just assume because you're brown that you don't get damaged by
Yeah.
the sun. Because I don't really get sunburned. I don't know if you get sunburned, but I just don't.
I don't I mean, I did get sunburned when I was younger, but I was way paler and I was under the sun for way longer than any white
Right.
person could probably be under.
Like, the only way I could get sunburned is if I was somewhere that had, like, really intense sun, like Mexico or Hawaii. I got sunburned there. And I had to be out in the sun for, like, 6 hours before I
Huh.
would
Okay.
burn.
Because, like, in Serbia, I never got sunburnt, even though the temperatures are usually, like, around 100 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit. And, I mean, I can stay under the sun for, like, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours and not even worry about it. But when I was in Lebanon, when I purposely tan and, like, stay under the sun for 2, 3 hours, not moving a single inch, I feel like that's, like, when I got really sunburnt.
Yeah, I haven't been sunburned in
Forever, yeah.
years. But yeah, they're just finding in a bunch of research. I mean, I'm sure it's been around for a long time. It's just I didn't get the memo apparently. That it, even if you don't burn, it still damages your skin because you're exposing it to all the whatever.
Damn, maybe I should start putting sunscreen on my face. I do want to look young
Right.
forever.
I'm super attached to being young and beautiful.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I'm
like we
pretty
know it's
worried
gonna
about that.
fade away eventually. It's just let's make it last as long as possible.
Right. So I mean, if I can like keep the wrinkles at bay just by wearing sunscreen, I mean, I feel like I should probably do that.
Hell
But
yeah.
I don't know. It's like tough though because there's so many different kinds of sunscreen and I don't want to put like what is that sunscreen that comes in the blue bottle? Like I can't remember what it's called. Just like your basic sunscreen. Can't remember what brand it is, but
Sounds like it has a lot of chemicals in it.
you put it like all over your body and stuff. They have like a what is it? There's also the spray ones from like Copper Tone or something. I don't think that's the kind of sunscreen you put on your face. Like I think there's a specific kind of sunscreen that you put on your face that doesn't like clog your pores and fuck up your skin.
Interesting.
But I don't know how to do that. I don't know what
I-
kind of sunscreen I'm supposed to be wearing.
I didn't know that.
Or how strong it's supposed to be. Like they have SPF 15 and then they have like SPF 90 and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what the difference is. What does SPF even mean?
Sun percentage.
Something.
Something. I don't
It's
even,
sun protection
I
something.
don't
That's
know,
all
making
I
it
know.
up. Damn.
That's why I haven't done it yet because I don't really know what I'm even looking for. And it's crazy because the internet's such a big thing that you can just basically ask anything into and figure out anything. But there's almost like too much information where I don't even
You're
know.
like, where do you start?
Yeah, and you have so many articles that are telling you so many different things, and you're like, I don't know who's right.
Yeah, I agree. Because, like, there's a lot of research all the time, but here's my problem with research. Scientific researches, but specifically, not researching online. But because, like, scientific researches depend on the group size of the case study, and sometimes it's really small to even make any actual, not correlation. It's usually correlation. Correlation means doesn't necessarily this affects this, but it's like both happen at the same time. But like the reasoning, like, oh, I don't know, fuck, I forgot how to explain this properly, but I feel like you understand what I mean. Like sometimes the case study is a little bit smaller, and like let's say out of 12 people, 6 and 6, and like, you know, makes sense saying 50% of people, if something happens, like by this case study, saying like, yeah, 50% of the case study was like this and had these effects. But like in a bigger scale of number with bigger variations, you're like, it's a smaller percentage, you're really not sure. So you got to research that too and just know your stuff. And there's a lot of fact checking also because sadly, some studies also just want good investments and good money and sponsors. So they try and like make the study itself more lenient towards what they want to achieve or what they want to say so they can get more funding.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends. Like you gotta find good sources.
Right. It's so hard to know like who's hello.
Yeah.
It's so hard to know like who really knows what they're talking about and what kind of because the other thing I feel like I learned with political science is you could take like the same set of facts and if you just frame it differently, you come to a completely different conclusion. So you can like read numbers and all that jazz and read the stats, but if you read it from this angle, it'll look this way. If you read it from the other angle, it'll look completely different. So
Yeah.
it's so hard for me to know like how to really understand what I'm reading and kind
Yeah.
of like be able to gauge whether or not it's a credible source because I mean anyone could just put anything on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean there's really no requirement there and it's like how do you verify that information especially when it comes to things like science or medicine, like how do you really get down to like is this really the case or is just everyone manipulating the facts to
Yeah.
make it seem a certain way. I still don't really know how to combat that really.
Just a lot of time on the internet and like looking it up. I just remembered how to say your name properly. Like it was bothering me. Like why did I forget it? Schalia Prieto Romero.
Prieto.
Prieto?
Prieto.
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 Prieto. Prieto.
Gotta have that R roll in there. I'm just
Prieto.
kidding.
No, that's understandable. You gotta say it right. Schalia Prieto Romero. But like, how long does it usually take you to do your makeup? Because I'm like, damn, you look already good, but I don't think you're almost done either.
It depends on what you're doing. And it depends on how much time you have. Like,
Oh, makes sense.
I can definitely put together a look really quickly if I'm in a rush or I'm running super late or something. You can just like slap on eyeshadow. But right now I'm doing a halo eye, and it usually just takes me like a little bit longer because I have to build up multiple different eyeshadows and kind of blend it all out. If I was in a rush, I would just put like 2 eyeshadows on and call it a day. I would just be like, there you go, I'm done. I need to get out the door. But when I'm trying to like do an actual look, it just takes a lot of steps and a lot of like back and forth and really making sure it's all blended and it's all looking good. Plus you have to like account for the time that it takes you to fix a mistake that you've made.
Oh, that sucks. That sounds like it's time consuming also.
Yeah, especially with like your eyeliner or something. If you screw that up.
Oh no.
Sometimes I've literally washed it off and done it all over again because I messed up.
That sounds like you're starting a new canvas.
Yep, I've done that where I literally got to the end of my makeup and I messed up so much I had to wash it all off.
Damn,
Start all over again.
That sucks.
It did. I was pretty upset. But I don't know. I feel like it doesn't happen overly often. For the most part, I feel like a lot of makeup is learning how to salvage what you screwed up.
Interesting.
Because there's just no going back once it's on your face.
That sounds like being a mechanic. It's like you open a can of worms when you fix one thing. You're like, okay, I realize now there's this much more stuff to fix.
Right? And then you're like, well, this is taking a lot longer. This is why I hate when Kelson rushes me with my makeup, because it just makes me anxious and it makes me mess it up. And when he tries to talk to me when I'm like in the middle of doing my eyeliner or something, I'm like, don't speak words to me right now. I'm literally holding my breath while I draw this wing on and you're trying to ask me questions.
Like you're extremely focused, you got something to do, like I can't multitask when I'm doing this specific task. Like this task needs all the attention and focus right now.
Right? And a lot of times things just take time, especially if we're like going out or we're going to a show or to the bars or something. Like I'm trying to do a real makeup look and it just takes a minute. So just, go downstairs, have a beer and wait.
Yeah.
Don't bother me.
Go downstairs, have a beer and wait. Sounds accurate.
Well, I feel like that was always a thing, and like I've heard multiple women talk about this, and it's so funny to me because it's such a common thing for guys to just be like, are you done yet? Like, why does it take you forever to get ready? But then they like these girls that look bomb as fuck and
Yeah.
have like nice makeup and they're all done up and they're like, man, that girl's really hot. And I'm like,
Yeah.
do you think she just woke up like
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
I'm sorry. Do you
Like-
think she has naturally purple eyelids?
Like the amount of time I spent doing this is exactly the same amount they're doing, and then you compliment them and you give me shit for taking so long.
Yeah, just appreciate that I look good. Damn, how hard is that?
Do you wanna...
Yes.
Feel free to use whatever you need. I mean, like, this is an adult show. I like having alcohol here, having weed, and having this. I don't give a shit. Even cussing. Some people don't want cussing on their podcast, but I'm personally like, man, like, I literally want to have like a good conversation with someone and just sit down and talk.
Right, and
be
if
like,
you're censoring them,
yeah,
you're
it
not really
just
going to get an
feels
authentic
weird.
conversation.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel authentic or genuine, especially like I cuss a lot, and that's my fucking problem. I cuss a lot, but like not in a aggressive, mean way, but more like it's just somehow I add it into my vocabulary for some reason, and I can't help it because I feel like
Right.
I need to. You know, I was telling I was talking to you about this the other day when I told you like I was reading an article a long time ago that says people who cuss are usually more often more honest. But I also was watching what's his face? Sean Evans from Hot Ones, and he said like he had an interview. No, not Sean Evans. It was from Ela Clyde. Ela, yeah, from H3H3, and they were talking about this TV show producer or something. They were making a TV show, but he basically said like, if you can keep the conversation the same way while cussing, you can do it without cussing. Just it gives you more audience. And I'm like, I kind of understand that, but I don't want to like limit someone's ability to talk and feel comfortable about what they're saying and think twice about what they're saying. Because like, I want you to say what you want to say, or I want you to share your honest opinion. If it includes cussing, then fuck it, man. It's there. Like I do that all the time, and I feel sometimes weird in public when I cuss in front of kids. I try my best not to, but sometimes there's just kids around, and I'm like, shit. I'm sorry, I did not notice you there, and now I feel weird for doing that in front of you, like because your parents are not doing that.
Yeah, I don't really know, like, especially in America, I don't know why we have this thing about cussing that it's so terrible. It's like the worst thing you could possibly do. And it was crazy because there was one time when I was like 16. I think it was like 16. It was when American Hustle came out, which is a great movie. And I wanted to go see it with my friend, but we couldn't because it was rated R.
Oh, that sucks.
So we had to take one of our parents or something, if I remember correctly. But I remember another movie had come out at the same time that was a horror movie. It was like The Exorcism or something like that. And it was rated PG-13. And I was like, so apparently it's more socially accepted to scare the absolute shit out of people and psychologically traumatize them than it is to hear the F word a couple times in a movie. Like, I don't know what the fuck that was about. There wasn't
Seriously.
even any... American Hustle literally didn't even have any violence, I don't think. Like, no one died.
Why was it rated R then? Just because of the cussing?
Just the profanity. There was, like, a little bit of, like, sexual stuff, but no one was having sex or, like, it wasn't super graphic. It was just, they cussed a lot.
That's so stupid.
But it got rated R because of that. And I was like, this is
that's
fucking
dope.
lame. Like, we condone violence to be PG-13, but if there's an F word, it's, like, automatically rated R.
Yeah, fuck, man. That's dumb as shit.
Right? I don't get that at all. It's just like kind of pointless. I really like a lot of books that have profanity in them too.
Me too, because like, man, using profanity in perfect situations, you can't say that is. I don't know how to describe this. Like, let's say there's a kid cussing. Yeah, usually it's a generally bad thing when you hear a kid cuss, but like when you see this is an example from Casey, the vlogger on YouTube, is like, yeah, I cuss a lot, but I try to slow down a little bit after having kids. But I do notice that I can't get angry at my kids for cussing. And like people think like you're doing bad parenting if your kids cuss, but like sometimes he said his kid says it in such a perfect way that I'm even thinking exactly the same thought. So that coming out from my daughter's mouth like makes me shocked that she's used it in such a perfect manner. Not like just it's easy to say fuck, especially when you're a kid, but like it's not easy to use fuck in a proper fashion. Like the example he used was they were like in the supermarket or something, and there was a long line, and they were like waiting at self checkout for so long, and it's just everything moving everywhere. Everyone's going everywhere, and he's like, in his head, he's like, "This is a fucking shit show," and then his daughter literally said, "This is a fucking shit show," and he just got stunned and he just looked at her. I'm like, "That's exactly what I was thinking," and I was surprised that she used it in such a good way. And I couldn't get mad at her because like it's exactly right. Like you should be able to cuss in certain situations. You just gotta know when.
Right? That's how I feel like if I were to ever have kids, which I'm still not 100% sure if I would want to do that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm too
me
young to
neither.
even
Yeah.
really bother thinking about that. But if I did have kids, I would hope that I would be able to at least teach them how to be respectful.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to not cuss, but exactly to know when is the appropriate time to be
Yeah.
cussing or who to be cussing at. Like, not your
Yeah.
teacher, not like something that's super ridiculous and unnecessary or it's hurtful or something like that. But just sometimes there's just no other word for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta fucking cuss.
Just like you said when you were out with your friends that night and that guy grabbed you, like you 100% has to cuss. Like he was the guy who grabbed you and said, "Oh, you're so beautiful."
Oh my god.
Like there's no way you can't cuss. That's such a protective thing. Like stay the fuck away. Like if you stay away, doesn't sound as immediate and in danger as like stay the fuck away.
Right? It adds like a certain element of emphasis
Yeah.
to what you're already saying. And yeah, especially in situations like that when you're trying to really make the other person understand how serious you really are.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it helps to just kind of throw an F-bomb in there and you're like, really, dude, don't fuck with me.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not
exactly.
kidding.
Like this is exactly my mood and my tone right now, and like I mean it.
Yep. And that guy, I was 100% ready to fight. 100%. Like, I felt physically in danger, and I was like, if it comes down to it, I will punch you. Like, I will
Yeah.
throw hands right now.
Fuck yeah.
Because, I mean, what else am I going to do? Like, am I going to wait for someone else to save me? Am I
No.
going to rely on the bouncer to get there in time? Like, no.
Yeah. Like maybe he swings at you and like it's too late. You already got hit once, so you just have to fight for yourself.
Right? I think, like, especially for women, it's like a really can be like a sort of empowering thing to like not take that kind of shit from people, because of course like when you're younger they always teach you like tell a teacher, or and which you should report bullying and stuff, but I feel like it helps, especially when you're a girl, to like have that confidence in yourself that you can handle a situation that's maybe not super friendly, because not
Yeah.
everyone in the world is super nice. Not
Yeah.
everyone's going to respond to please leave me alone, thank you very much. Like,
Yeah,
there's some
no.
people that don't take no for an answer, and sometimes you gotta throw punches and you gotta protect yourself. And I mean, are you gonna wait for a guy to come save you? No.
No, you gotta take it in your own matter. Take it in your hands.
Which we did, and that guy got thrown out.
Hell yeah.
It was a
That
great
makes me happy.
It was a great night. But not in a super big rush to go back to that club.
I mean, well, now sadly we can't go to any clubs. I mean, not
Right.
really sadly. I'm kind of glad because we can save a little bit of money for now. But at the same time, having the option was nice. Now we don't have the option for the next month.
Right? I'm really curious what's going to happen to the bars and like the nightlife, all that, because I feel like it's kind of dead. Kind of
Yeah, I wonder
struggling.
how much money they're gonna lose. But what I'm more wondering is how people are gonna react, because being quarantined for a while is gonna be really devastating for our mental health and for our like general well-being, because just being stuck at home is not for everyone. And being stuck at home for a long period of time is definitely not for everyone.
Right? People like going out. They like
Yeah.
socializing. They like going to bars. Like, that's why.
Like
going-
even if they don't like it, sometimes you just need to. You have to force yourself to be uncomfortable for a sec.
Right? I mean, yeah, there's so many times that I'm like, do I really want to go pay overpriced drinks at a bar that's playing music I don't even like,
Yeah.
amongst a bunch of people that are really drunk and I'm not interested in knowing who they are?
Yeah.
No. But I get to hang out with my friends. I get to cut loose and have a good time
Yeah.
and make a memory. And that's kind of what it's all about for a lot of people.
Yeah, and sometimes really fun stuff happened that night, and you're like, man, I'm gonna remember this for years. And it's like making connection with people is just something else. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people who are very introverted can't 100% relate to like making, because like they're very comfortable being by themselves and doing their own thing when they want to do it, but I feel they also kind of lack the understanding that you can make that connection if you force yourself to be uncomfortable just for one time. Like you don't have to constantly do this. You just have to force yourself to be out at least this one time. It's for your general well-being. It's for you to just grow a little bit more and realize, okay, there's people like this, and I don't want to like relate to these people, but then there's people like us where like we go out just to have fun and like love each other and just have a great time together as a group rather than just individual, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go all together now and try and get home with someone. Like, I don't like that mentality. Like going out with people, I feel like it's just for having fun. But if you do want to go out and just find someone, you do you, no judgment. Just at the same time, don't expect that everyone's gonna do that. Same with me. I'm not expecting everyone's gonna be going outside and having fun. Not expecting like people who are introverted to always want to go out either. And just like giving people the option is always nice, even if you get to know a lot. And like that's okay. Like they, if they don't want to, they don't. But that doesn't. They also feel unhappy if like you just stopped asking them to come out because they kept saying no, because they're gonna be like, oh, it's all my fault, all me. But you're like, no, you should not really stop. You should really try and like give them an invitation, be like, hey, you guys should do come, and maybe this one time will make you feel loose and have fun. And then the next time I invite you, you can definitely say no and just stay at home and enjoy your time.
Right? I feel like it's always nice to at least extend the invitation because you never really you never really know. They might be having just like a good day and they want to come out and it's like they could be feeling like they want to go out but no one invited them because they
Yeah.
said no so many times. But it's like, I mean, people just either really enjoy going out and socializing with people and they're really extroverted or they're not and they just prefer their alone time and they only like to go out occasionally when they feel like it, which
Yeah.
is like always a thing. I mean, I was always like, I think when I was growing up I was a lot more introverted because I was just a bookworm.
Yeah.
I wanted to be left alone. I just wanted to sit in my room and read books all the time. But I don't know, when I got older and I started going out more and like realizing there was so much more to life than just the inside of my room,
Yeah.
I started to enjoy going out a lot more. So I would like very rarely say no unless for some reason I was like really tired
Yeah.
or really poor or something like that. But for the most part, I always think it's like worth going out and having those experiences because they're kind of irreplaceable.
I agree, definitely, because I mean, you only have such limited time to completely enjoy your life and do like things. And like in the future, I feel like when we grow older, we kind of will grow out of some aspects of our lives, like let's say going out this often and getting too shit faced. Yeah, like that's definitely gonna happen. So enjoy it while we can, and then in the future, like we don't have to worry about we're missing out because we didn't do this when we were younger and we're still not doing it as an older person.
Right? I don't want to get down the line when I'm older and like wish I had cut loose more and wish I had done more.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not really the it's not the feeling I want to get when I'm older. I kind of want
Oh
to be
yeah.
able to say I went and I did my stuff and I settled down when I was ready to do that
Yeah.
instead of like jumping ahead of my story. Because I think a lot of what I've learned has been from those nights that we were out until 5 a.m.
Yeah.
or like I got put in some interesting situations because I found myself amongst the wrong types of people, and those were also lessons that I had to learn, kind of thing. So I feel like you can grow a lot, really,
Mm-hmm.
from just going out and experiencing things and figuring out what you're about, what you like, what you don't like,
Yeah.
things that are important to you versus not.
I'm just glad you've been safe. Like that's number one. Just be safe.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have gotten super lucky, but yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff can happen, especially when you're a girl and like you want to believe that everyone's really nice and everyone has your best interest at heart, but like
Sadly, it's not true.
it's not
though, yeah.
not the case, and
Yeah.
you can't even really trust other girls too
That's
because
the worst.
to a certain extent you kind of can,
Yeah.
but you can't like assume that another girl is going to have your back the way that you would have your own back.
Yeah.
So that's also something I had to learn.
I feel like the most fucked up shit is like when girls are super mean to other girls just because of a guy, and I'm like, man,
Dude, that's always
why?
the dumbest
Yeah,
shit to me.
why?
Like, that guy's not that great.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
that
It's
cool.
not worth losing a good friend or a good person for just a flap of meat. Like, really, it's not worth it. Even the same way for guys too, in my opinion. Like, a lot of man, oh, like I hate girls who like putting guys together and like try and make them fight over the girl. And I think that's so fucking stupid and petty. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time and energy just for you. You're not worth me getting hurt. Like, I'm okay with feeling pain and like fighting someone if I need to. I'm a comfortable fighter. I know how to fight. I've taken so many punches in my life, and I'm like, it doesn't really hurt me anymore. But I'm not gonna sit within like 2 days of being bruised just because your ego is being stroked by us. Like, fuck you and fuck this shit. I'm talking about a specific situation right now too,
Oh,
because
I didn't know.
yeah, we both know what we're talking about. Like, fuck that shit, man. Like,
Right? That was honestly so fucked and so stupid because I was like, there's really no point to that because you in general know who you're about and who you're not, especially if you like two different people. Like, you already know who's like the one you're really hoping
yeah,
for.
yeah,
So if you
exactly.
already know which one you're really hoping for, then just let the other person go in peace. Why are
Yeah.
you keeping them like strung along and just making them fight for you when really if you're playing that kind of game, you're not really worth fighting for anyway.
Yeah,
Like, what are you
exactly.
doing?
Like, I don't play games. You're not worth my time. Like, the only games I like are video games and tabletop games and games with friends. I don't like mind games because that's fucking stupid. I feel like it's such a waste of energy and waste of mental energy, and like my brain cells are not worth this. My brain cells have been developing all this time for good, purposeful, and good things for my life, but this is just definitely not good for me. So fuck this shit.
Right?
Out.
There's just something like inherently disingenuine about playing games like that, and
Yeah.
I don't understand it because it's so much faster and easier to just be really upfront and
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
straightforward.
exactly.
Like, it just gets the point across. You're like, look, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm feeling, deal with it or don't. I don't
Yeah.
know, what do you want from me? Instead of like playing this crazy game where like, I said this but I really meant this and I wanted you to pick up on it because if you loved me you would know what I
Yeah,
really
that's
meant.
so stupid.
Like, dude,
God, like the
Why?
only thing I like about games is it shows your character instantly. So I already know who you are as a person. And I think that's like the only good thing about playing games. Like, you're gonna play a game with me, I'm like, okay, I exactly know who you are as a person now, so I don't have to play this game. I can just literally pick up myself and leave.
right? I feel like a lot of people don't understand the concept that people are not obligated to deal with your shit. Like, they're just really not. There's no reason why they have to put up with you and
Yeah.
the way that you treat them. Like, if they're not feeling it, they could just as easily walk out.
Yeah.
They're not obligated to stay. You're not that cool.
No, exactly, yeah.
Like, you could just treat people however you want and expect them to stick around for it. Like, if you want not just even a relationship, if you want friendships, if you want family, if you want people to love and support you and be with you, then you have to be like considerate enough to care.
Mhm.
You know, like, they're not just like characters in your life.
Yeah,
You know,
you're
they
not
don't.
like the center of the fucking world. Nothing, and not everything revolves around you. So if you think
Right?
like this is very important to happen, like you need this to happen, then you have to like think of your character and be like, dude, something's wrong with me. Like, when I was younger, I was seeing this counselor, and she did tell me like I had extreme anxiety at that point, and I didn't really know much about seasonal depression, about depression, because I only had general anxiety when I was younger, just like a tiny bit, and most of the time I was in my room, so like I wouldn't feel anxious. I would be always so confident, comfortable in my home. But coming here, like realizing there's so many new things to learn, made me feel a bit more anxious too because I'm in a different place, different situation, and there's so many different things. But I forgot where I was going with this, so shit. Yeah, where was I going with this? I was talking about anxiety. Oh yeah, being self-centric. But then I was talking to this counselor. I kind of got pissed when she said that, but at the same time, it made some sense because honestly, honesty hurts sometimes, and you're like, this makes sense. And especially coming from your counselor, you're like, oh, I was not expecting this from you, being super blunt, but I really do appreciate being blunt. Like, I was telling her about my general anxiety, how like my thought process. when I was younger, because I would be so anxious about so many things and be like, what if this person doesn't like me? Did I do this and like that upset them? And like I would worry about these minute details. And then she said like, Nadim, sometimes the world doesn't revolve around you. You're like being really self-centric when you worry like that much. And I just looked at her and I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. You're right. Like, why am I anxious about things that doesn't really matter that much? Why am I overthinking this? So it just kind of made sense and like made my character grow. But some people, when you tell them that, they're like, they get so defensive and they're like, no, I'm not wrong. There's nothing wrong with me. Something's wrong with you.
Yeah,
And
they
that's
can't
what,
admit that they have a shortcoming.
yeah, like that's what happened with that person too. Because I feel like she did not understand that she has some character flaws. And like, I'm not judging her for the character flaws because I'm flawed also. But dude, if you want to improve yourself or you want to have meaningful connections in your life, you gotta realize your strengths and your weaknesses. She knows her strengths, but she doesn't know her weaknesses, and she plays it off as other people's fault. And like I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, and sometimes I accidentally get loose and like, hey, yeah, I apologize for being this weak and doing this and not realizing it until later. Like at least I realize my weaknesses. That person did not realize their weaknesses. So I feel like they're not really gonna grow as a person if they keep doing that, and I do hope the best for them, and I really hope they do grow.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of I wouldn't say courage, but just like self-awareness to understand what your shortcomings really are as a
Yeah.
person and to like work on them without letting them without like getting all oh like I'm a bad person and blah blah blah. Like that's not helpful either.
Yeah.
You can be a good person but still understand that you have work to do on yourself and kind
Yeah.
of take accountability for that. When I was younger, my parents talk to me about this all the time because they're like, you're wildly different than you were 4 years ago. Like when you were in high school, especially high school, of course, because high school
Yeah.
girls are a nightmare. And I can attest to that because I also was one of those. But you're just so like, you're just so selfish. You're so selfish. You're so self-centered. Like you only care about how you feel and everyone else is just needs to just get on board with what you want and treat you the way that you want and all that jazz. And you kind of like fail to realize that you're not always right and the world doesn't revolve around you
Yeah.
and that other people's feelings are pretty valid. My
Yeah.
my dad told me when I was younger, when I was like 12, I think, because I was kind of I was a bitch. Like, actually, though, I was such a mean 12-year-old. Like, I was,
It's okay, you're a kid though.
yeah, I don't know if I was a bully necessarily, but I just wasn't a nice person. And my dad literally straight up was like, Shalia, you know why people don't like you? It's because you're a bitch.
Damn, that is honest. I love
I know.
that.
My dad just told me I was a bitch when I was 12. And then but it made me realize, like, wow, maybe that's why people don't like me. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I don't really have friends because I'm
Yeah.
not a nice person. And then I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I'm not really proud of myself. And this is when I was 12 and I was just realizing all this. So I like grew up a little bit and started to consider other people. And now I just kind of try to focus on being like the kind of person that you can be proud of.
Yes, I agree with that. Like, be the person who you want it to be. Don't be, man, don't be a person you think you should be. Be the person you want to be. But you hit home run when you did say some people are stuck with their high school selves. Like, I 100% agree with that. I feel like some people don't grow from their high school character. And I'm like, I'm really glad I'm not stuck as the high school me because I am so embarrassed and cringed by the person who I was when I was younger. I'm like, I can't imagine that you're proud that you're still stuck being the same person you were at high school. Like, I understand that you learn, you grow a lot by then, but at the same time, you're like not the best person when you were in high school. You're literally such a fucking spoiled brat, probably. And like being stuck like that as an adult is very embarrassing and cringy. So don't take pride into that, no.
Right? I feel like almost one of the most important things for growing and learning is weirdly getting hurt by other people.
Yeah.
Because then you're
yeah.
on the other side of like, man, that really didn't feel good. I don't
Yeah.
like that. And then
Uh-uh.
you're like conscious of it. And when you deal with other people, you're like, I didn't like it very much when someone was like that to me. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to be like that to you because now I understand how hurtful that can be.
Yes.
So
I agree.
I've grown the most from being hurt by people and being like, wow, that's
That's why I feel like the nicest people are the people who are depressed, sadly, because they don't want people to feel the same way. Being depressed really fucking sucks. And I feel like people who are depressed can relate to understanding, like being kind and genuine to each other can really help. And like if you're being a shitty person to someone who's depressed, it makes them feel so much fucking worse too. And like I don't know, I still do notice, like I feel like people who suffer from depression or anxiety in general make the best people just because they have the mental capacity to understand other people's perspectives, because not everyone can understand other people's perspectives. Honestly, I also really like these lights because I feel like they're big happy lights. It's kind of making
Oh
me
my
feel
god,
better.
right? It's
Yeah.
making my makeup look so much better than it normally does. I was
Maybe.
I was literally just like, wow, my skin looks really great. I don't even know what's going on here because it's not like I have flawless skin, but it looks like that with these
You kind
lights.
of mostly do. Like the only thing I notice is like you look more tired without makeup, but
Oh,
that's very
right.
normal for someone who doesn't sleep as much and is always awake and working and doing a lot of stuff. And like it's kind of natural for human beings to have bags under their eyes. So it's makes sense, but you still look as flawless except just a little bit more tired.
Yeah, I always feel like I don't know. Makeup is one of those weird things where when I was younger, I was that bitch that would wake up at like 5:30 in the morning just so I could do my hair and makeup for school because I don't know, it just made me feel better. But it was also like a huge it was just like a huge confidence thing, especially because when I was younger I had like acne and I had like pimples and
Yeah.
stuff and I felt really insecure about that, so I had to wear a full face of makeup in order to feel like pretty. And of course there's always like it's like it's nice when people tell you that your makeup looks nice and that you're really pretty, but when they only tell you that when you have makeup on, it tricks your brain into thinking that you're only pretty with makeup on.
Oh, that
So
sucks.
I would feel this like ridiculous pressure because everyone would always be like, Shalia, you're so beautiful, your makeup looks so nice, blah blah blah. But then I would feel like I had to have
Yeah.
makeup on in order to feel beautiful, and it took a long time for me to kind of get over that and be like, I'm not obligated to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Like there's no requirement that I have to be pretty 24/7.
But
That's
like
way too much effort.
you're beautiful without makeup still. Like it just makes you step up your game a little bit more, I feel like, with makeup. I don't know if you notice, like a lot of guys say like I like the natural look more better, but I hate when they do that and say like they dismissively say that the makeup is basically just making you look worse. Like no, makeup's not for you, dude. It's for her.
Oh my god. Why is that so true? It literally pisses me off so much when guys are just like, I don't know why girls wear a bunch of makeup because I just think they look better without it and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, do you think for 1 second that I spent my hard earned money on my makeup and spent like an hour doing it for you who can't even tell the difference between like a MAC lipstick and like a different brand of
Yeah,
lipstick? You
exactly.
don't even know what you don't even know what
Uh-uh.
I just did.
You just
So
see the finished art, you don't understand the process.
yeah, and especially with guys that like I don't know, like strangers, I'm like, I did not think of you at all when I
Yeah.
did my makeup this
Yeah.
morning. I was just like, you know what I'm feeling? I want some purple eyeshadow. That's all I was thinking. Like, I was not considering getting catcalled as part of my like requirement for
Uh-huh.
my makeup
Like,
today at all.
it's nice to be complimented, but it's nice not nice to be catcalled. Like there's a big difference. Being non-creepy and be like, "Wow, your makeup looks good," and like, "Ooh, hey girl, looking good," and you're like,
right?
that's a fucking big difference right there, my dude.
Oh, it's so true, especially at work when like I get like talked to by guys. When they're really nice, it's just really nice. You
Yeah.
know, they're just really respectful. They're just like, you're really pretty, by the way. Like, or I think you're really cute. And then they're like, have a good day. Bye.
Yeah,
And you're
like
like,
it's nice. Yeah.
wow. Like, I feel flattered. You feel confident because you just like went up and talked to a girl and we had a positive interaction. No one felt harassed or gross. Like, that's great.
I feel like that a lot of guys don't understand that. Like when you do flirt, if you do want to flirt or do you want to give a compliment, you don't have to expect something right after. It's more like you're just doing this because you want it to be nice, and that should be it. It should not be like, oh yeah, I think you're pretty. Hope you have a wonderful day. Then I expect you to just talk to me and like we become conversating and something happens. Like no, that's not it. It's like my opinion has been shared. I want you to feel good. I feel good about it. Done. I feel, yeah, like I
Yep.
swear to God, a lot of guys don't understand how
And
to
everyone
properly.
walks away happy. It's like a
Exactly.
positive interaction. I feel like a lot of guys don't understand that there's also like, it depends on the girl too, and guy, really. It depends on the person. Like some people are just made super uncomfortable by that because like they have certain experiences that you don't know about, or
Yeah.
like trauma that you don't know about. And
Yeah.
so sometimes like people are really sensitive to it, or they're going through something on their own and they don't want to talk to you, or
Yeah.
they're like offended. And that's okay too, because you just have to be like, okay, well, they weren't into it. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
Because there's some days that I'm like that where if a guy even talks to me, I'm like, literally go away.
Yeah.
Like
I honestly don't think I've had one interaction where I was being flirty or complimenting someone where it turned wrong, because I've always like just wanted to say it because I wanted to share my opinion and want to make someone feel better, but that's basically it. Like I've seen a lot of people fail at being nice and complimenting to people because I feel like they were expecting something right after. I'm like, dude, just chill. If it's gonna happen, it naturally happens. Like you don't plant a seed and expect a fucking tree right after. And like you should not expect a tree. Like sometimes the seeds don't even fruit. Like it's just a dud seed. It is what it is. You just do your job by planting and just trying, or I don't know. Does that sound right? I don't know if that sounds right. Like you tried. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get a lot farther by just being like respectful and genuine and
Yeah.
not like pushing an ulterior motive on them or pushing an agenda. When I feel like, at least for me, with dating guys in the past, I was always more responsive to guys that I didn't feel like were being aggressive.
Yeah.
Like I was always seeking out guys that were just really nice and that would just come up and talk to me and be like, so like, how's your day? I like your makeup, or I like your shirt. And then we just chit chat. And then if I like them, then I give them my number. And if I don't, then I don't. I don't
Yeah.
know. But it's always the guys that like get in your space and they get really aggressive and they're just like kind of disrespectful. You're immediately just like, go away.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you at all. And then they complain and they're like, oh, girls nowadays, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, just be respectful. And then girls will talk to you. Why is that so hard?
It's very hard for their tiny little brain to understand.
Right. They're just a little underdeveloped. It's not their fault.
I agree. Man, I swear to God, I feel like... Here's the thing. I don't know if I should say this or I'm gonna get canceled for saying this, but also, Western women are as bad as Western men. Like, fuckboys are as bad as Western women most of the time. Like, I understand that you guys are a little bit smarter than most guys here. Judy, chill. But I feel like... I don't know. I guess I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna cut that off. But... I don't know. That's my honest opinion, because I did notice that... I don't know, man. Most girls that I've been with just... no. Yeah, I'm not gonna... I'm not gonna say that. Never mind. Anyways.
I don't even know what I'm going to do with this makeup, but honestly, there's so many times I just do my makeup because it's relaxing to me. I'm not even fucking going anywhere, but I'm like, it's just relaxing. It's very zen to me. You
Hell
know,
yeah.
it's like my happy place. Always has been when I was younger. Like, I would just go in my room and do my makeup for like an hour or two just to like, I need to focus on something. And
Yeah.
it's nice because you have like the like immediate gratification of it, you know, like you put it on and you see it happening and you see
Yeah.
it coming together and you're like, man, this is like fun.
It's art also.
It's art.
Honestly, enjoy it. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's... When you do your makeup downstairs, it's kind of nice because you're like there, but you're doing your own thing. And then we can just conversate. And
Right.
it's a fun thing.
I definitely I remember in high school, like getting ready for dances and stuff with my friends and just all putting out our makeup and like doing our makeup together and be like, oh my God, what concealer are you using? Oh, I've never tried that. Can I try it? Oh my God, I love it too. Like, I don't know. It's a weird like bonding thing that you feel connected to other people in like a like-minded goal. Like you're all getting ready to go to the dance and you're all hyping each other up because you're like, oh my God, girl, you look so good. Oh really? No, you
Hell
look so
yeah.
good. It's just nice. That's why I always feel like girls' bathrooms are like the nicest places ever. You
I wish
know?
the guy's bathroom was like, it's the fucking dirtiest place ever. But honestly, Schalia, you gotta start your own YouTube video for makeup.
I would be down.
I mean, YouTube channel. Yeah, I think it would look really good. I think you could do a lot of things. Dude, what? Both batteries ran out. I'm surprised. Well, when this one dies, I'm gonna probably cut the show because I don't really have enough batteries
What is
charged.
Judy even barking at?
She's
right
an
now?
idiot. I swear to God. Like she barks at everything and anything, and it is what it is. But goddamn, Like sometimes chill. Like even when our neighbors goes up their stairs, like she knows that it's our neighbors and she loves them, but she still fucking barks at them like hell. I don't understand why. Like they're not gonna come and be like, "Oh, you chuggy." They're gonna be annoyed also, but she's a dog. She doesn't understand that shit.
Yeah, sometimes her barking like scares the shit out of me because it'll be really quiet and then all of a sudden she'll start barking and I'm like have like a mini heart attack because I didn't see that coming at all. And I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? And it's literally just a dog or like our neighbors or something. And I'm like, god damn it.
Yeah.
You just made me like jump out of my skin for
God
no
damn.
reason. Nothing's even wrong.
I love my dog. She's stupid, but she's still really smart. She's like stupid smart. I don't know how to explain it. She's smart in her own way, but she could be really stupid. The amount of times I saw her trying to bark at another dog, and I'm trying to be like, I don't even say anything because like as soon as I react, she reacts. So I just pretend that the dog is not there, and she calms down sometimes. But like I hate it when I walk and I'm like seeing another dog on the other side of the street, and then she becomes full aggressive mode and stands in front of me and tries to trip me. I'm like, you fucking dumbass. And then like I just pretend that nothing's happening and walk like casually, and then she still barks at the other dog and not noticing what's in front of her and literally smacks her face multiple times into other fucking stuff like poles or sidewalks or cars. I'm like, you are a dumbass. You really are that aggressive towards other dogs, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Right? You're like, Judy, calm down.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're just
chill.
enjoying. You're not the only dog in this world, Judy. Why are you like this? Like I know you like cats, but that's not fair for other dogs.
I'm surprised that she likes cats though.
Yeah,
That's kind of funny.
I know, right?
She's a character. Love her. She just cracks me up so much because she'll just do like the damnedest thing, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like what? What are you doing? Why are you freaking out over nothing? Just like jumping around, tweaking out. And I'm like, you're cute.
Oh, dude.
She's such a lovable fluff ball.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end this podcast because we've been talking for like an hour and 12 minutes now.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I know, it's nice. But my battery is gonna die and I want to make sure that my content... I actually, when the first battery died, I really hope that my footage is still in the memory card. It didn't get corrupted or anything. So I'm gonna turn this off before the battery dies.
Do it.
Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you. Hope you guys have a very wonderful day. And thank you for Schalia for being here on my first interview podcast with a friend.
Aw, thanks for
Habibi.
having me.
Habibi, I appreciate you. Goodbye, friends.
Friends.